I'm gonna show you how to do these Panther challenges in Mecha BREAK so you can get this shiny title that you've probably seen other people use in your matches. I would say Panther is not the most difficult of the mechs to do your challenges on. In fact, it may be the first one that you do all the challenges for. So I'd put it in kind of a mid-tier difficulty. If you've gotten to this point in the game, you've done the basic tutorial, but just a quick refresher for those who don't know the names of the abilities. The basic left click attack 1 is called Lance. The secondary attack or mouse 2 is Complex Shield. Auxiliary 1, which is the 1 button for me, swaps from the Complex Shield to the Shield Blade. Q is Booster Kit. And then finally E is Reinforced Complex Shield. So let's go ahead and hop into these challenges, starting off with Challenge 1. Challenge 1 is actually a race. You have to get to the finish line, essentially, by going striker to striker, killing them without falling into the pit of fire. One thing that you have to keep in mind here is that the Lance uses a minuscule amount of energy to get from one mech to the other. This is a timed event, so you do have just enough time to tap the ground while holding down your Lance button and then boost your way to the next monster without having to do the actual shift button using your engine. But ideally, you're only utilizing the targeting system of both Lance and the melee attack in order to reach the next striker. Mission 2 is a little bit more difficult, but has some real in-game application, and that is attacking stealth units. Currently, Panther does not have any ability to find a stealth target by itself, but keep in mind a stealth target does not mean invulnerable. All you need to do is swing at the position and you will possibly kill whatever the target is. So with Lance, you can dash in the direction where you saw the enemy shooting from and actually do damage, and the Lance is strong enough to one-shot each of these. Now, you could technically do the same thing with the melee attack. However, I like to utilize just the Lance in order to maintain energy, because you may have to dodge one of the shots from these at the same time. Now, the other kicker to this is that each shot from the AI will actually one-shot you. So because of that, you have two options to keep yourself alive. One is dodging, and the other is blocking. The basic way to block would be to use your Complex Shield. That will stop any frontal attack from coming at you. First couple of sniper shots will be from the front. However, as you are doing your Lance attack, you can be shot from either side, and that's where the Reinforced Complex Shield comes in. But keep in mind, the AI will one-shot the Reinforced Shield, so you have to turn it off so it regenerates, but you're also timed, so ideally you're tapping it on and off as you go from AI to AI. This is just a single tap of the E button for me while I'm doing my Lance, find the next target, and then kill that right away with the next Lance. Rinse, repeat until you get to the end, hopefully blocking every actual hit with the Complex Shield, or dodging it outright.
Challenge success.
The next challenge is a bit more difficult. You have to neutralize a specific number of Falcons that will respawn, sometimes 2 at a time. I can tell you that a single Lance is not enough to one-shot a Falcon. You do have to mix between your basic melee and the Lance attacks. If you can get to them with a full combo of melee into Lance, then it will probably kill the Falcon. So that's really important to keep in mind. So what you're going to be doing here is that a single dash of the Lance will probably get dodged by Falcon, and Falcon can break lock-on by doing the spin. So you're kind of watching to make sure that you're not losing lock-on, and ideally you're not using the Lance just to fish out for hit confirmation, and then be able to do Lance even if you lose targeting, pin the Falcon against the wall, and then do your combo. Now this actually requires quite a bit of energy, so this is also a test of can you do Booster Kit during the time that you are flying towards one of the Falcons. This is also a timed event. You'll probably fail based on completion timer. It may take you a couple of tries, but as long as you're doing the booster kit and not going out of energy. In fact, if you go low on energy, just stop doing anything before like completely tapping out. That way you can get your energy back faster.
Stabilizing. Challenge success.
The next challenge is arguably the most difficult one, and that is a one-on-one versus Alysnes. To be fair, I kind of think Alysnes almost always beats Panther in most situations. So this is kind of the game giving you, here's your bad matchup, learn how to fight against it. The reason why this is so difficult for Panther is that Alysnes has a shield, so it can parry. Alysnes also has melee, and is pretty aggressive with that melee. And the stagger from the jump combo, as in fly up / downward, that is so painful that a lot of mechs can't do anything about it. There's also the caveat that Alysnes basically has 3 health bars. So it starts off in full armor mode with all of its good buttons. If you get through that, it goes into the agile mode. And with that, it has better attack speed, better dashing, and just constant bullets coming through. Once you get through that health bar, it will re-engage the full armor, get its health bar back, get all of its fluid armor back, and now you have to do that all over again. So you end up in a situation where you yourself do not have sustain, and Alysnes does. So how do you get through Alysnes' 3 health bars? Keep in mind, this is AI. We're not necessarily cheesing the fight. This is more so, this is an attack that's going to happen constantly. And you as the player know how to counter it, which is parrying Alysnes' melee attack. Alysnes AI always wants to do a melee attack on you. And with that knowledge, you should always be going for a block into charge javelin. What ends up happening is that you can kill Alysnes in 2 fully charged counter jabs, and that will put it into the next phase if you think about a boss fight with different phases to it. Unfortunately, Alysnes AI, I don't know if it functions the same way as players, but as soon as you do the charge javelin, it will bounce back and attack you immediately. You have 2 options here. You can either spam shift in order to dodge out of its melee combo, or you can tap the reinforced complex shield button, whatever you have it set for, and that will cancel out whatever kind of attack is coming from Alysnes. Also keep in mind, if the AI is doing the combo from the air, this is an unparryable version of the melee attack, and the only thing that will survive it is either dodging or the reinforced complex shield. After it's dropped its armor, it's going to be a lot faster and shoot a lot more often. In this circumstance, you may have to keep the reinforced complex up a little bit longer than normal. But again, we're doing the same strat here where it's gonna do a melee attack and you just have to be prepared to do that parry. Keep in mind that you only have a 2-second window to parry an attack. So you aren't holding down the block button constantly. As soon as you see it pull out the melee attack, that's when you start using your block, and that will do the parry, and then you can counter with the lance. You should only need 1 single lance charge to kill 0 armor Alysnes. We'll go back into the full armor mode. In this case, you're gonna just rinse, repeat, fish out for the parry, and then do the actual counter attack. As I said, playing against a normal human isn't exactly the same, but they're probably gonna want to melee you at some point. So it's kind of a test to see how patient you are at just doing the parry.
Challenge success.
The next challenge is versus Aquila and Welkin. I would say this one's actually not as hard as fighting a single Alysnes, but it does require a little bit of thought process here. So Aquila wants to stay in the air. It's a sniper. It has a mobilizing grapple hook that requires 3 or 4 dodges to actually not get hit by. But what ends up happening is that will whittle down all of your fluid armor and maybe attack your actual HP bar, which we kind of need that for the Welkin fight, since Welkin is a little bit more melee. So in this fight, you have to get up to where Aquila is, very, very high up in the sky. We're using either the melee attack to charge yourself towards Aquila, and that's probably with your reinforced complex shield up. That way you can actually block the shots as you're flying towards it. However, the big issue is you might get hit by the grapple hook. So as you're flying towards Aquila, you're only looking to dodge that grapple hook. You have to mitigate the actual sniper shots as much as possible. And then honestly, Aquila's gonna die in like probably 2 fully charged lances and 1 melee combo. Once you're done with that, if you didn't take too long, Welkin will spawn, and this part of the fight is maybe where you're gonna die a couple of times, but I would assume most of your deaths came from the fact that Aquila whittled down your HP too much. The Welkin, again, is another big melee character. Even though it does have the howitzers, it's gonna want to attack you in melee. So I do believe you are better off fishing out parries in this fight. Again, we're not cheesing the AI. I think this is gameplay that a Welkin player out there is gonna do regardless.
Challenge failed.
The Welkin will die in 3 parries. You block the first one. Afterwards, it will probably put you in a box, in which case you may have to activate the reinforced shield, and you won't end up just outright dying to the spin to win. Once that box is over, 2 parries into fully charged lance will kill the Welkin. If you made it this far, you're probably gonna win. I would say that this fight didn't take me nearly as long as the Alysnes fight. However, getting your dub here does give you access to that Lancer title. You can equip that in the profile page, just clicking the titles button, and there's a bunch of different titles you can choose from, including ones that you pay for with achievement points. If you like what you saw and you want to see more of these kind of videos, subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video, let me know which mecha challenge you want to see next. Either way, hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you on the next one.